Hey, it's Topher. This is Geek Public Radio right here on geekpublicradio.com. And guess what? We're here on video this time. And it's not the theater, though we had a good time at the Elk Theater. We're going to be doing some more shows over there. But now we're in our little studio space. And with me, as always, is Crazy Chris.
What up?
Today we're going to be talking about a little bit about BlizzCon. BlizzCon started today. I was trying to sit through the TikTok opening ceremony stuff that they had on their TikTok live while I was driving, so that was an interesting...
He was not looking at his phone, to be clear.
I was listening to it at the same time.
Or were you? You rebel, you.
We're going to talk about a little bit about BlizzCon and some of the announcements. We're going to talk about eBay and is eBay slitting its throat.
Yes.
We're talking...
Spoilers.
And we're going to talk about, their platform and whatnot. Well, we're going to talk about our platform and some of the changes that's going to happen on our platform and some of those that you may have seen already if you are watching the live video, which, yes, we have live video once again.
We're back, baby.
There's going to be a whole lot. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff coming, but we'll be right back. We don't even have commercials.
No.
We're completely...
Yeah, we could just go, right now.
All right, but that's what we got on tap. So, we're here. Hi, both of us. So, first of all, BlizzCon.
No, first of all, I'm not this white. We're still working on the lighting, but we wanted to make sure we got a show out. I'm right. Not this pale.
We're looking at...
Most of the time.
So we're going to start with BlizzCon. They announced some new stuff to bring Hearthstone back in line with what they originally had set up for it. There's a few really cool and interesting announcements, but one of the announcements that I wanted to get into was they announced Burning Crusade.
Yep.
I was hoping it would be a different server that you could still play Classic and then play Burning Crusade if you wanted to play the one with, that way, but no.
Yeah, that's a big negative, Ghost Rider. So you got your classic, WoW, and then now you have an expansion,
right?
The Burning Crusade. So,
but the point of
it'll be on top of.
Everybody likes, a lot of people liked the idea of going back to classic WoW. I was a big fan. Yeah. If I had more time, if I didn't have to work,
I never got into
7
it,
days
so I'm not a huge WoW fan.
If I didn't have to work 7 days a week, I probably would be on there. But a lot more. But my wife is on there all the time. I liked the fact that you had to carry flint and tinder to start your campfires. You had to do all of this stuff. It was hard for a reason, and it was something that made you feel like you retail actually meant something after you've seen what it started out with Classic. You go back to retail, you're like, oh well, I'm not taking this for granted. Like I can do this and this and this now, and I can't do that in Classic. So it's fun. As much as I like the Burning Crusade expansion, that's actually the expansion I started in vanilla, right before Burning Crusade was available.
For reference, he's talking about the first time Burning
yes,
Crusade was available. They're remaking the Burning Crusade.
Yeah,
so.
they're putting expansions out for
the Dark Portal reopens or something like that.
Yeah. But so it was a fun expansion. I liked it. I've been with them since the beginning, but I'm not 100% sure that now they're just going to run through all of the expansions, because they've even said that they're not against putting out expanding into Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah,
which
why
would be the next.
why wouldn't they?
But
why
then
would they not do that?
They're literally just re-releasing all of their old stuff.
You mean like WoW Classic?
Well, that was
The entire premise. It's right there in the name.
right, but with WoW Classic, they did that because you had vanilla servers that they were actively shutting down.
Yeah.
That because people were wanting to go back and play the original game, so they were like, okay, well, let's shut these down and then bring out a WoW Classic so those people can come over and play WoW the way they want.
Now Blizzard is asking you, how much do you want to play the vanilla game? Would you like to play the vanilla expansions again? And I'm imagining that they're probably going to do updates on some of the technical bugs that some of those expansions had. They're probably going to incorporate newer features.
It's all new, an all new engine. Like they've had to redesign the whole thing to make it look like the old stuff, play like the old stuff, but with better graphics and whatnot. And you can actually dial it down to the graphics.
Get it nice and choppy.
That you had back in the day, which is actually like setting 3. So, which is hilarious. Like you know, setting 3. This is classic WoW. You can dial it up on my system. I can dial it all the way up to 10 and make it look like it's never looked in its entire history.
I liked the look of the original WoW. I thought it was kind of cool, but like, even as we were watching the preview for Burning Crusade, their little video that they dropped for it. When I was watching it, I just kind of looked and I was like, man, I forgot how cartoonish it looked. Like, because I don't play WoW. I'm not knocking people who do. If you have a hobby you like, knock yourself out, play. But it's not for me. I've never been a WoW fan.
That's why they call them tunes.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't have a character, you have a tune.
See, my thing was I was a huge Warcraft fan. Right,
I
had 1, 2, and 3. I had all the expansions.
Orcs versus humans.
Oh, so fun.
Where you just click on the orcs and keep clicking on them, like, all right, would you quit touching me?
Are you still touching me? It's such a
what? Would you quit touching me?
And then they leave me alone.
Want more work?
Yeah, those were super fun. Stop bothering me, or stop pestering. Yeah, stop pestering me, I think is what it was. But like that was Warcraft to me. Right. That was Warcraft. Even the third one, like, it starts getting like super in depth and story. Yeah, and I've always liked.
I think
RTS
the third one is when you get
games.
into the first expansion that they had. So you had like you had the
Frozen Throne.
Frozen Throne, and then I think Frozen Throne was the expansion for
3.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just trying to remember the original name for 3.
I honestly think it was Wrath of the Lich King.
No, Wrath was the
because that's
third
where he becomes
expansion of WoW, where we actually go back into Northrend and try to go after Arthas,
which is so awesome.
Who's now sitting on the Frozen Throne.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? To be quite honest with you, I'm not 100% sure because it's been well over a decade since I played 3. But that was actually a thing. So my dad, who passed, like he and I used to actually play Warcraft all the time together. And obviously, I mean, he's passed after Warcraft, World of Warcraft, but WoW was released.
Right.
But when WoW came out, I bought it, and I say I use bought in the most loose terms possible. But I purchased because I was like, oh, this is going to be like another Warcraft sim, and it's cool. And I was like, the hell am I playing? But why am I not building bases? This is stupid. I hate this. Because I'm really good at doing that and building the bases and like. So strategically placing my forces where they need to be and winning the scenario. And I was like, there's no scenario. This is stupid. I hate this. I only get to play one character. This is dumb. So that it turned me off immediately because I was expecting real time strategy. I wasn't yet familiar with the world of MMOs. In that regard,
switch over to StarCraft at that point.
I mean, might as well. Yeah. I'm actually really surprised that Blizzard hasn't tried.
Well, you have StarCraft. You have StarCraft 2 and 3 and all whatever.
Well, so I'm saying I'm really surprised they haven't tried to do like a World of StarCraft or something like that instead of because
don't give them ideas. Like they're busy like messing everything else up.
Believe me, I'm sure somebody in their room has talked about, why don't I do World of StarCraft? And I'm sure the CEO was like, why would we do that when people are willing to pay for classic WoW? We don't even have to remake any games. We don't have to do anything new. But it does look pretty cool, though. So if you're a WoW fan, you'll probably enjoy this. With skepticism, of course, from people like Chris, who just like to poo-poo on everything.
Well, no, like I said, it is one of my favorite expansions between it. Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King.
Got it? Yeah, you got it.
Those are two of my favorite expansions out of all of those 7 expansions that they've had now.
Oh my God, it hasn't been about it. It has been. See, now I'm doing it. You got me all tongue-tied, twisted, and confused. It has been about that many.
But those two are my favorite. But the idea of playing Classic was... It showed you how hard it was. It brought you back to the original experience. It wasn't like...
That was something that stood out to me even like when I played it because, again, I wasn't familiar with the MMO platform. So when I would play WoW, and I did give it a fair shake. I tried to play it for roughly a month, trying to get into it, trying to figure things out. And this is the golden age of the internet. This was the dawn of forums and things like that. So when I initially started playing... the access to, Reddit boards and Google searches and trying to find, like, YouTube walkthroughs and stuff like that was a lot harder to do than it is now. So you had to, it was a trial by error thing. And, of course, everybody who was familiar already with MMOs had already jumped into those platforms and was dominating pretty early. So it was a difficult game. To say the least, and it was full of a lot of griefers when it first started, especially for new people who had no idea how to play an MMO like myself.
Right.
I mean, I did Ultima Online, right, which was a whole different animal.
See,
you ran into like one person once a week.
I came into WoW from EverQuest.
Yeah, see, and I think that's where a lot of people came from too.
And I stopped playing.
Krista came from.
I stopped playing EverQuest when I lost an entire weekend. Like, I didn't sleep. I like barely ate. It was like run to the microwave, cook some ramen noodles, and grab another 2-liter Mountain Dew, and then head back into the computer room. But actually, it was a giant walk-in closet that I turned into a computer room because it was like a 5-foot by 8-foot room. I was like, I could put a bed in here and make it
right. I never have to leave my bed.
But so I had it.
And now with the advent of Uber Eats, if you have a window, you can just open the window and be like, "Hey, just bring me my food right to the window. You don't even have to get up from the computer. Just hold your hand out the door or the window."
But so yeah, so like I went from that where it was like, we're gonna be raiding this place, and okay, everybody's on board, and okay, now corpse retrieval. Like we got our asses kicked. Now you got to corpse drag yourself all the way across the map because the teleporters are dead, and they're trying to get their own stuff back. And if you ran off, you could leave your body, but all of your equipment is left over there.
Yeah, you kids are spoiled now with the way WoW's set up, is you get to keep your stuff if you die, which is crap.
Yeah, like EverQuest, you had to go get your body or else you were naked. Like, oops. Yep. Well, we gotta.
And they made it challenging, but it was still positive. Like 90% of the 90% of the time, you get your body back.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean,
there was that 10% where you're like, well, I'm never going back in there to get that.
It's kind of like Escape from Tarkov. In a sense that I like the game. I like the grittiness of the game. I like the hard part of the game. But if you're brand new into it, if you don't know, like I have been. It was Viva La Dirt that actually got me to realize that it was an actual game. And I was like, okay, well this is hard. And then I'm like, where did all my stuff go? Every time you die, anything you die on with gets left. So your inventory, you have to complete the mission. You have to actually like escape the zone, kill people, gather stuff, escape the zone, and that's how you keep all your equipment. If you die in there, you lose your equipment. You're done.
The end. Yep.
And it's like, oh, well, crud. And you can
super
only
super unforgiving.
yeah, and you have to reset. Like to get it back, you'd have to reset, which loses your levels, any of the other stuff, but it sends you back to the beginning and gives you your base equipment. And it's like, oh crap! Well, I guess I'm resetting once a week because this is hard.
Yeah, I didn't bring the mic with me. I was leaning back. No, they made certain games like that. With a good difficulty spike, like WoW. WoW was challenging, but WoW became challenging because of the players, not necessarily because of the environment.
With Classic, it was a community. Like, if you were a Horde player, you were a Horde player. If you were an Alliance player, you were an Alliance player.
For the Horde! Sorry, go ahead. You were Alliance, you scumbag.
Well, no, I played both. I went both ways.
If you guys don't see Topher after this, you know why.
But you had communities because you needed help to do some of this stuff. It's like, hey,
oh yeah,
I'm over here doing this. We want to team up. You know, you're doing the same quest I'm doing. Whatever, we can all party up and go do this. Yeah. And you would actually have PvP raids. Like a server would get together and be like, okay, we're gonna raid Orgrimmar, and like the entire server would get together in one giant attack and go just attack Orgrimmar,
which is great.
Vice versa. Yeah.
And like I said, I tried to give it a fair shake. I gave it roughly a month, and then I very, very, very quickly lost interest. And for the most part, I'm not a big MMORPG fan.
But you're a 76er.
Because 76 can be played
by
yourself,
with friends.
Or with friends. It is more fun with friends, and it gives a broader team up aspect. The action feels more familiar to me because whereas WoW was a huge departure from just the general structure of the Warcraft game. Yeah. So I went in there completely blind, whereas 76, I knew it was a quote massive multiplayer online game, but it's realistically it's just a massive game. And the single player experience is easy. It's not, well, I'll phrase this correctly. It can be easy if you figure out what you're supposed to do. Right. That can be the challenging part. Is they went out of their way to make it so non-linear that just try like you should go to this location. Okay, I'm here. What do I do? You die because you're 5 levels under-leveled and everything there can kill you. Oh, and by the way, bullets are finite and you have to make your own stuff. Also, your stuff breaks and so if you didn't play survival mode, you were pretty SOL right out of the gate.
My favorite part of that, I got in and immediately got absorbed into building stuff and didn't even follow the thing, like the game. I was just like scrounging and doing this and doing that and like finding as much as I can, and I built a nice little trading station type thing that I put my vending machines out and anything that I need.
After my second character to level 120, I finally built vending machines.
Like I literally only got to level 20, and that was purely from scrounging. Yeah. Like I did nothing until I hit something about making a Nuka-Cola, or not a Nuka-Cola, but one of the special drink or whatever that you end up blacked out across the map.
Oh, the Nuka Shine.
Yeah. And then
which is hilarious.
Got attacked by
Flatwoods monster?
Mothman.
Oh, the Mothman. Okay.
The Mothman tracked me down and killed me. Because I was literally running back to my base going, holy shit, I've never been over here before. Oh, I'll grab this, I'll grab this, I'll grab this, I'll grab this. I need this, I need this.
Look up, Dad.
Like, ooh, holy shit, that's Mothman.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
I was like, ooh, look, it's Mothman.
Ooh, dead.
Like, wait a minute. He's got different eyes than the one that I saw 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Why is he shooting weird shit at me? I'm not high enough level. Run. And then that became a corpse drag.
Yep, because you just drop all your crap.
It became a spawn, run away. Oh, shit. He found me again. Boom. Until I got back to the airport. because I camped out at the airport, right outside the airport, where the garden exists. I just made my building there and just went and grabbed shit out of the garden.
No, and it's actually that when you're early level, that's a really good spot to do it. Another good spots to do it is right. Another good spot to do it was right at the big fork in the road, right after you leave 76, and you go all the way down. You follow that road all the way down, and you get to that fork in the road where you can go north or south. Which I don't remember the highway off the top of my head, but you can go north or south, and then there's that little building right there. And later on became a way station. But that was a great spot to build your camp because it was right there by the water. You could get all kinds of cool resources from the water. The enemies weren't very high level. Plenty of wood, metal, everything that you needed to furnish your base. And then from there you could go north, south, and just kind of pick your way across. So it became pretty fun.
The one of my favorite parts of that was I built my very first one was up on the overlook, on that little scenic thing that had the little, and I incorporated the little shelter houses like into my building, so like I had this full compound. I could go up and sit on up there and like at the picnic tables and whatnot under the thing. I'd fenced off where things wouldn't come in. I had a sentry gun, or ish, whatever the very first thing you like it warning. It was a little robot, I think, or something. That was like, no, don't, like there's something here. But that was my and then I did the whole area. I pulled that down and I stuck it at the fall off part of the highway to where like there was one way in, one way out.
Right.
Nobody could come in and attack me because I'm literally like my house, and then there's the drop off.
So for the longest time, I could never figure out what those slants were for. It's a stone foundation with the slants on it, which I mean really all it is just an extra base wall to put on there.
Right.
But I finally figured out what they're useful for. If you slap them on the side of your house and jump off the second story roof and hit one, you don't take any damage. So you slide off. So
nice.
You could theoretically put an escape hatch on your roof if you get your base overrun, which happens, and then jump out and hit the foundation and just take off running and abandon your base. But, what are they going to do, blow it up?
That's if you don't get the kangaroo legs mutation.
Oh, I love... well, you need bird bones to avoid fall damage.
So bird bones and kangaroo legs? Kangaroo legs
if I were to go through my mutation list right now, it was so ridiculous. I have eagle eyes, bird bones, marsupial, which is the kangaroo one you're talking about. What else did I get? I got a bunch of stupid ones, and some of them kind of like half cancel each other out, but they don't. They just cancel out the negatives. Oh god, it got so dumb. But yeah, essentially before they nerfed everything, which because they went through and they just nerfed everything. So my 120, I think it ended up being 125 or 130 level build, ended up becoming completely useless. I was so pissed because I put so much, I put so much time and effort into building that character, and then Bethesda's like, well, we noticed there's some discrepancies in power levels, and we want to go ahead and make things fair. Oh, now you want things fair, Bethesda. Okay. After I've been the victim of all of this power leveling from other players, now you want to make it fair.
It's like,
okay.
Like, so way to go, Blizzard. Oh, I mean Bethesda.
Right. And this is the whole thing, and I've always said this. It's not unfair if you can do it. Everybody could make that build.
Yeah.
So it's not unfair. That's not how that works. Just because other people are taking advantage of it does not mean that the system is unfair. Well, we got to fair it out now.
It's called min-maxing.
Yeah.
If you can min-max your character and get the most out of it, that happens in video games all over the place. It happens in tabletop. There's builds in D&D that allows you to be like third level doing 100 points of damage.
Listen up, all you DMs. I got something for you. You'll love this. If you get Sentinel and Polearm Master, you are untouchable. Sentinel and Polearm Master. Look them up in your feats guide. Look them up in the feats section of your PHP. Sentinel and Polearm Master. And then
this is for 5th or 3.5?
This is for 5th ed. When you're done looking those up, leave your comment below about how absolutely stupid broken that is. Sentinel basically is you get an attack of opportunity if they come within so many feet of you. You get unlimited. If your attack of opportunity hits, their movement stops. You dead stop them in their tracks.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. Essentially forcing them to be adjacent to you to fight. Well, a polearm has 10-foot reach.
So you push them 1 square away.
No, they get within 10 feet of you. You get an attack of opportunity. They can't close.
Right. That's
You're still subject to ranged attacks, but
right. But that's what I'm saying is like you have a 1 square buffer now, or a one. Yeah.
In every direction. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, it gets better because if you have a very large area to fight in, which when I run, I like to give my players a lot of room. I like to give them obstacles and some fun stuff to fight through because it adds an element of, quote, realism to a fantastic setting. So, like, a table's overturned in the middle of the room.
Right.
It's there. You can't run through the middle of the room. There's a table there. You can jump over it with an acrobats check, or you can hide behind it for cover. Stuff like that I'll allow you to do, but I like to keep those things open, right? So, but I like to give them a lot of room to run around. Well, Sentinel and Polearm Master essentially means that they can close the gap, stop within 10 feet of the monster. The monster moves within range, and they just go, no, stop moving.
Quit it.
And then,
Quit it.
then they back up 5 feet because they're allowed to. They're allowed to move up to 5 feet. So they go, bink, and they back up. The monster moves, bink, back up. So insanely stupid.
That's
so stupid. And because they can just do it at will.
And then on top of that, well, I mean, that's when you just like, okay, he has a breath weapon.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's ways around it. Like, don't get me wrong, but like for a standard fight, they're almost unkillable because most of your goblins don't have ranged attacks. But that's the other thing too, is they can just close the gap. If you have Sentinel, you can just close the gap, and then every time they try to move, you just pin them and kill them. So, I mean, if you're ranged, that's great, but if you're using, like, a monk, for instance, who gets a base speed, I think, of 40 feet, then they go, and they run up there and
tap, tap, tap.
Tap, 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 boom, boom, yeah, and you're done. And on top of that, they're stupid high AC. So, bring it on. It's just dumb. Or you give them something like Snatch Arrow or Deflect Arrow, whatever it's. I can't remember what they get now. Actually, they may not have that anymore in 5th Ed. I need to look it up again.
Yeah, we just actually started into we just started into the transferring everybody over. My guys were really slow in wanting to adapt. Like, it took them until 4th edition to move out of 1st edition.
Good God.
And we moved into 3.5.
They're gonna like 5.
That's what I talked them into. Well, they got used to 3.5, and then we switched to 5th. And I got a couple comments saying like, "Well, I don't really like this system, like this thing. It just
super easy."
And there's like, well, like the skills and this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, we played 1st and 2nd, where the skills 1st edition we didn't have skills. Like, that's what we added to the, like, as a game master, I added those to the game.
Right.
And just kind of had an idea, like, okay, like, we had orienteering,
Right.
like basic land navigation. Like, give me a stealth check, which is your dexterity.
Yeah.
Give me
and that's that. Well, honestly, it was trial and error through how all those things developed anyway, but yeah, 5th Ed is really streamlined compared to 3.5. I enjoy the hell out of it. I think it's a fantastic system. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. And there are elements about that game, like the yo-yo death system. I hate that.
I haven't got that far yet, so explain that one to me.
Okay, so I call it yo-yo death. I think I've heard that term somewhere else, but it's a good term to describe it. So there's certain spells that can be done as bonus actions. There's bards can do certain spells if they have the ritual effect. If they have the ritual effect in the spell, then they can actually use that spell as a bonus action. They get rituals as bonuses. And one of those, I believe, is Healing Word. And I don't have it all in front of me. It's just top of my head. So if I get things wrong, I apologize, y'all. But Healing Word, for instance. So a bard can, I think bards get it, clerics get it, paladins get it. I think rangers even get it. Like it's a super common spell. And it's a first level, or it might even be a cantrip. I think it's a cantrip.
Yeah, I noticed that they had heal as a cantrip.
Yeah, there's a heal as a cantrip. Now, it only gives you, I think, 1 HP plus like 2 or something like that, or like some kind of modifier. It does not give you a lot. It might only be 1 HP. But because it can be done as a bonus action, 5th Ed's all about action economy.
Right.
How many actions can you get done in the shortest amount of time possible to defeat your opponent? How can you minimize the amount of actions that they take against you? So enemies in that game can get 5 or 6 attacks, but if you can mitigate that, they stop being a threat real fast.
Right,
so
I'm waiting for my guys to figure that one out.
They will. It'll start to click. I've been DMing for a few newer players, and I've started to kind of put it into their heads that they need to slow the enemy's attacks down in order to be successful. So a lot of them will just close ranks, and I'm like, okay, now I don't have to move, which means I get my bonus actions. You're in trouble. Like, and even when you do move, you do get some bonus actions. But anyways, I digress. But it's kind of the mushiness of the rules. But so with Healing Word, death yo-yoing, you're a barbarian. You're not raging, because then you'd be exhausted. But you're not raging, but you go down in combat. Well, then depending on where you fall in the turn order, you could be next and miss your turn and have to make a death save, or I could be next as a paladin and then go Healing Word, and you bounce right back up.
Didn't take my hit.
And then you literally just stand up and attack the enemy that just dropped you with no penalty, nothing. No death save. You didn't even have to make a death save. Like, here we go, rocking and rolling. And
then you get hit again. Go back down.
And then they look over and the bard's like, Healing Word. And then you're back up to 1 HP. It's like, so it's not, and because there's no exaggerated death and there's no constitution modifier to surpass or anything like that, you just drop to 0 and you go into death count. So because of that, other than a coup de grace, which is possible, the enemy, but you still have to be at 0 to coup de grace.
Right.
So the enemy that dropped you has to have multiple attacks. Those attacks have to hit, and then I would have to coup de grace you. So at minimum, you're burning one of the enemy's actions to drop you to 0, and potentially burning its second one to coup de grace you, and you're forcing, which is a thing you can do as a DM, and I have warned my players, if they abuse the yo-yo death system, I will start dropping coup de grace to be a dick about it, because I think it's a really flawed part of the system, but that's just me.
Right.
So yo-yo death is basically you go down, you get back up. You go down, you get back up.
Well, from a lot of the people that I've talked to and that I've hung out and talked about this stuff, there's a whole section that don't like killing people, like in game. Like a whole bunch of DMs that have this problem of actually killing characters. And
I don't like TPKs. I
don't like them, but if
that's what happens, that's what happens.
If they're dumb, then
I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in player choice and player advocacy. If my players, after being repeatedly warned that the mountains are infested with dragons, decide to go up the mountain to investigate and they get eaten by the dragon, that's your own stupid fault. All the villagers told you, hey, we lose, seasoned adventurers up there all the time. Don't go up there. It's a really bad idea. And you're level 2 and you're like, I'm going to climb a mountain. Okie dokie, Smokey. On your way up, you get attacked by a wyvern. You're dead. Like, you didn't even get to the dragons. The wyvern whooped your ass. You're done.
This ain't The Witcher.
Right. Like, it just makes me laugh. But, like, I believe in things like that. And it's like karmic justice. Like, if you screw over a local lord,
prepare to have assassins coming to your door.
It's going to happen. Those are very proud people. And depending on how you handle the situation,
They may be less inclined to do that or more inclined, but now every session I begin and I have a list of things that the players have influenced, and I decide what happens during that, either during that session, or I start putting machinations in place for sessions to come. Because you live in a living, breathing world. It's organic. It moves opposite of you. It doesn't move because of, or it moves in spite of you, not because of you.
Right.
You exist in this world, and the world exists. So it's alive. You know, the king makes decisions when you're not there. You might come back and figure out, oh, guess what? You're all wanted because whatever reason.
I introduced. They were really comfortable.
Give me belly. Sorry, go ahead.
They were really comfortable in this area, and they weren't really moving forward.
Mm.
So an intellect devourer came in.
The most terrifying CR2 creatures in the game. They are horrifyingly dangerous.
Right, but this literally framed them for killing people by blowing their heads up.
I like it.
And they got chased out of town because they were now wanted for the deaths of all of these people. While they were trying to figure out what was killing people in town, they ended up getting roped into it and blamed for it. So that pushed them into the actual campaign.
And that's a great way to do that. And it's semi-organic. It is forced. It is railroading. But it's still... Number one, if I'm a part of that campaign, I think that's fun.
It's all based on... It was actually all based on how they responded to the things. I looked at it as like, okay, what is the... You know, here's this. They went out and investigated. They found it. They chased this one dude down who they witnessed this thing blow out of somebody's head and then crawl into another person's face. You know, like they witnessed it, scarred them. They're like, what the fuck is that? But so they got to see all that, and then they chased the person down. It went around the corner, and that had exploded, and it ran away just in time, you know, as they're picking up the body for the guard to come walking around the corner. And if they didn't choose to chase it, if they didn't choose to do this, if they didn't choose to do that, if they went the other way and worked with the guard instead of trying to be their own covert force. But that gave me the machinations, the leverage to say, oh, okay, well, boom, you are now arrested. And they ran away.
Congratulations, we started in a tavern, and now you guys are in a prison. Like, how many beginnings do you want?
Well, it was like they started as a caravan, like coming into the city.
Okay.
And they were setting up all this stuff, and they all had their own. Each one of them had their own plot that they were working on.
See, there you go. That's your first mistake. You let your players have plot. That's adorable.
Well, no, like we brought them in. And it was like, okay.
I'm kidding, DMs. It's really important.
Like the one character was a half dragon in a area.
I said advocacy earlier. I meant agency, just to correct myself.
One was a half dragon that was trying to find his father and get revenge.
Dragons are dead in my world.
But there's only one dragon left. Magic is outlawed.
Nice.
It's seen as evil and like inherently evil and all this other stuff. All dragon, any dragon kind, any monster is just that. It's a monster. It's evil. You need to kill it.
Yeah, so I accidentally based my world off of Final Fantasy 3.
Accidentally?
No, really, I did. Like, I didn't do it on purpose. Like, it's still its own original story.
Right.
But, like, a lot of the overarching themes are really eerily similar. I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, oh, Jesus. I need to change some stuff.
So in this world of, like, low magic, we have magic users. We have one was a soul blade or something like that used key and whatnot to manipulate stuff, and it was outcasts from society who were all hiding themselves that decided that they were going to go. They all came in, like one dude, the half dragon who was literally always cloaked and cowled and had gloves on and was a sorcerer. So he had 2 strikes against him, like right off the bat. He does magic, and he looks
An
like
abomination.
and he looks like a demon, So, so he's hiding himself and all this other stuff. Another person had like glowing eyes, like blue eyes and whatnot. Like, not when I say glowing, I'm talking about like it actually came out like past the thing. You had I think we only had like one normal character, and that was a druid. But druid and a ranger. There was a druid and a ranger.
You know, the guy that turns into like creatures and runs around the woods. That's the normal guy.
Well, I'm talking about like a druid
I know
and a
what you
ranger.
meant. The standard class. I know what you
Right.
meant, but that's your normal guy.
But so like the ranger would go out and do stuff for the party while they're like sitting in town in the thing, going, okay, well, when it gets dark, we'll leave. The one girl's like the with the glowing eyes is wearing like welder's goggles, like walking around during the day, especially at night, because her face like lights up.
Right. But yeah, so long story short, 5th Ed is really fun.
Yeah.
So we could game and geek out all night about game stuff. So, all right.
We were going to slide in and talk about eBay.
Yep. Before we do that, let's talk about, since we're talking about geek stuff, let's talk about our platform, how our platform is changing.
So at the top of the show, I said something about that we are doing live video.
That's right. And if you're watching right now, hello.
In fact, we're not doing live video on YouTube. We're not doing live video on Twitch.
Correct.
We're not doing. We actually have our own live video platform.
That's right. We did our own because we're the best. I mean, we use other people's stuff. That's not the point.
Well, actually, like most of this is our own stuff. It's our own servers. It's our own all that stuff. So
take that, corporate overlords.
we
demonetized. We own it.
Right? That's
damn you, Disney. Sorry.
So what we can do now is something we wanted to begin with. It was to own our own platform, to be our own like stuff,
to be our own bosses.
We didn't have to
work
worry
within
about
the confines of our own rules.
Right. So right now, this live is actually live on the website.
That's right. Again, hello.
Right next to it,
I see you.
Twitch style is their Discord.
That's right.
So you can actually watch the video, have access to our Discord, chat with us live.
Yep. So if during the live video, now understand that there is a slight delay.
30 seconds, just like YouTube.
Yep. So when you guys are watching the video, as you hear this message, I said it 30 seconds ago. You're time travelers.
But we also have new merch, this was the very first shirt that we
OG, original gamer.
Original gamer.
Yep.
The little Tetris machine. We have tons of stuff. I think we're in the neighborhood of
excuse me.
Closing in on 20 designs, 2021 designs that we have up, including our logos.
Yep.
All these fun little like gamer T-shirts and whatnot. We have all of that stuff's going to be built out.
We need to get me and T's faces looking at each other on a T-shirt, right? But like silhouetted, and it underneath it says conspiracies.
Like,
no, it's got to be the thumbs up.
well, you'd have to do it this way if it's silhouetted,
right? Which is be hilarious. But we gotta get that design. Now that I'm thinking about it, that has to be a shirt. Conspiracies. Love you, T.
But so those are actually going to be built out to where underneath the video you'll be able to see some of our merchandise. Click it, it'll open in a new window.
Yep.
And you can buy it right there. Yep. And still listen to us.
That's right. So geekpublicradio.com, where a lot of you guys, I hope, are checking this video out right now. You get the free videos for now. and we're going to continue to put some free content out there for you guys. Eventually, we might move to a different structure, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Right.
So for now, you guys are getting free access to the live stream videos. You guys are getting the access to the Discord server where you guys can live chat with us during the videos. And then there's also the link for, as he was talking about, for the merch page where you can pick up all your sweet, sweet Geek Public Radio merch.
My favorite part is if you're watching a show, go into the Discord, go to the Streamers Lounge, pop up in your video, and talk with people, get everybody into the chat, and talk about the show as we have the show.
That's right. So, the more friends that you have on Discord, you can bring them on over, let them see what's going on. They can watch the show with you. You guys can pump it out. The links are going to be easier to follow. We don't have to deal with, like I said, there's still going to be content on YouTube. We're still going to put stuff on Twitch, all that good stuff. But the majority of our stuff will be streamed through our website from this point forward. You guys check out the live videos there. And then, it's going to be great. GeekPublicRadio.com. So if you're watching this on YouTube, Twitch stream, or if you're checking us out on Spotify or any of the other mobile services.
Audible.
Audible.
We are now on Audible.
Forgot about that. I really did.
iHeart and all of the anywhere that you can get a podcast.
Yep. Anywhere you get your favorite podcast, check us out. So,
but yeah, that also gives us the ability to do, because remember, Geek Public Radio still has streaming music.
That's right.
24/7. We are an internet-based radio station that fully licensed plays music all day long. We now have the ability to do all request stuff live again and put it on video where you guys can request in the Discord and watch it through your video.
Yep. And once we start rebuilding some of the base for our employees, we'll be able to have more live DJs.
Right.
So that'll hopefully be coming back soon. So a lot of big stuff coming. You stay patient with us. Promise we're going to grow. We're going to make this thing big. We're going to get you guys the content that you deserve. We're going to be putting out multiple videos from the Sunday Night Madness crew, myself and T. We've got some stuff coming down the pipeline for you. Me and Chris doing the GPR.
And we have some videos coming up.
Yeah, we got some more videos coming up as well. So you guys won't want to miss it, man. The content's going to be fantastic.
And it'll all be hosted on here. We are going to not leak, but we are going to put some highlights.
Some teasers.
Highlights on YouTube.
Yep.
Whatnot. But if you want the full content, come here. We've picked up some new writers, and
yep, we'll have some more reviews coming in like we used to do with Geek Public Radio. We used to put up all the reviews for the games, which you can still find on there. There's still some on there, but we're gonna have a bunch more coming your way.
And some of those games that we got overloaded and hadn't been able to, that we were given to
Would we get 50 of them or something and just like, hey, review these? What?
Right. So
okay.
And we fell a little behind on some of the reviews, so we're going to pump those out and get those out to everybody. Some games that you might not even be familiar with,
but we're going to play test them and we're going to review them for you, and some movies and some other stuff, some video games and things like that. We're going to actually start doing what the channel was intended to do. Get back to doing what we were doing with the initialization of the channel.
COVID happened, and getting into before that was getting into the movie stuff. Kind of put a little bit of a crimp in whatnot. We grew in other directions, and that took up time. And with losing some of our writers and people who participate and people who are running shows, now we're back at it.
We are, and we're going to assemble, I think, a pretty diverse crew of reviewers. People who come from all tastes and walks and things like that. So that's gonna create a cool environment to our unique perspectives to look at some of these movies through with different lenses and things like that. So I think it'll be fun. Yeah, we're gonna be super, super fun. So there's that.
We don't have to worry about much of anything other than my code breaking. That's the only thing we have to worry about.
Yeah. We're just pretty much limited by Chris's imagination, which is a terrifying thought.
But what's great is this is
John Carpenter blushes when he hears about Chris's ideas.
But the really cool thing is since tonight is our first running test.
It is. It's a test show, but it's still a real show.
Yes.
Everything we said is legit.
I'm actually watching the video as we talk. So like if you're watching the video,
I was wondering why you kept
down,
looking down. It looked like you were really distracted, and I was like, "Is he watching porn? What is he doing?" I'm sorry, prawn. He's watching prawn.
But I'm looking down here to check the video, and I'm looking back here because that's where everything else is.
To monitor.
But you know, we still have a little bit of growing to do. The lighting situation.
But we're getting there. We've got the framework. Now we just need to build the guts and flesh everything out.
Right.
So we're doing, I think we're moving a lot further than we anticipated moving from the beginning of the year. So things have come along pretty good. You can see the cameras are different. We're doing the split stream. I mean, that's new. So we're doing the split streams now, being able to switch back and forth between the cameras. We finally got multiple cameras in the studio. The videos before were being shot on my phone camera.
Right.
That was actually, pretty cool, which I honestly thought was pretty cool. They looked really good. But the
it was
issue,
only one camera.
Yeah, but it's just one camera, so that's an issue. But so when we have 3 of us in the studio, and sometimes even 4, we'll have enough video to go around. So it's gonna be great.
We have enough for 4 or 5 people at this point.
So it's gonna be fun. Yeah. Then I say so we got BlizzCon. We got our platforms out of the way, and eBay.
Yeah.
So speaking of cutting throats, that's what we're gonna do with our business. Wait, hold on. Well, we're gonna run a cutthroat. Wait, no, hold on.
For those of you who aren't eBay sellers and haven't heard about this, eBay has separated from PayPal. PayPal and eBay, eBay got rid of PayPal as owning it a couple years ago, but they still had that pay through PayPal and all of that was set up. They finally cut their ties all together, and in doing so has made it so much harder because they're processing their own payments now. They're doing all this stuff like us. They now own their own platform. They have their control of the money. They control all the other stuff. However, you don't get paid right away, but you don't get paid until you ship, which means you don't have the money to pay for shipping. You have to pay for that ahead of time.
Yep.
And then it takes at least 2 days to get your stuff into your account. Unlike PayPal, where you could, if push comes to shove, you can pay for it out of PayPal and then turn your shipping and all the other stuff, and then turn around and dump that stuff onto a card and cash out that day. Everything holds, and if anybody needs a refund, it comes out of your stuff before you get. It's really complicated. It really put the kibosh on people being able to make quick money on eBay. They actually have to have money to start with in order to sell, and that has
it seems to
angered those who don't have that are literally using it like, hey, well, I have this stuff, yada yada yada. I can sell this. They pay the shipping. I immediately pay the shipping. It goes away, and then now I have that money to go put into other stuff.
Yep, but now they can't do that.
Right.
They have to wait the process. So what it's doing is it's favoring big sellers.
Right. You have to carry inventory. You have to carry, which you should be anyway. I don't like.
If you're if you're a professional seller, then yes. But if you're just on there selling, you're selling. A stack of magazines. Let's say vintage Playboys, because I said magazines. So let's say you're selling 10 vintage Playboys and you're selling it for $200.
Right.
Well, that's all you're selling. So you don't need to keep a stock or inventory. You don't really need it.
Right. Well, I'm talking about you have drop sellers on there.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. But like Walmart and things like that will go on to. They actually use and they utilize eBay, Amazon.
Right.
And they compile a list. I didn't know this, but Walmart.com actually compiles a list of local sellers. And when you order something, they will purchase that item from the seller to bring it to you and then sell it to you.
Yeah. No.
Walmart has become a corporate middleman on top of being a distributor. And I'm like, how in the world did you do both?
Well, no, there's a lot of people that do that. They'll go on Amazon.
Oh, they do it on eBay too.
Yeah, they'll go on Amazon and say, "Oh, you are making these blankets, and you were selling for this. I'll go to eBay and I'll put that thing up for more, and then I will buy it from Amazon and just have it shipped gift labeled to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't touch anything. I don't do anything. Money transfers over to that person, and I keep the rest.
Yep.
And now, when they make that order, it isn't the person who's bought it paying for it. They have to pay for that order and then get reimbursed from eBay. So maybe that's why they did some of that stuff to curb that.
To be quite honest, I think there will be some initial hiccups, and we're already seeing them, and it's angering some people. But
every
anytime
eBay
that you change,
seller that I know, and I know a few,
I know several.
all quit. They closed their stores.
Did they really? They
Yeah.
closed their store?
They're like done.
I feel like that's
selling
an
on my
extreme
web-
response. The couple of that I know, they haven't done it. It's they just have to wait longer to get their money. Is actually just the way they're looking at it. And it's just like any new implementation of a process, especially anything involving money. There's going to be
Right, but what I'm saying
a
is
furious uproar at first.
These guys are the guys that I'm talking about who don't have they have a volume of business that they cannot personally afford to pay the shipping on all this stuff and
Right.
then wait for that to come back. Like you're talking about some of these things being $300-400 of shipping if you're shipping overseas.
Yeah. No, I mean the upfront shipping cost is a little outrageous, especially for some of your not liquidators. What's the word that I'm looking for? Distributors, warehousers. What are the? I can't think of the words. It's got to be distributors, but like some of your bigger distributors and things like that. Let's say that I have a stock of 50 player handbooks from D&D, and 25 of them, which would weigh roughly 50 pounds. It's not light. Like people think that these books are light. Like each one's about 1 pound to maybe 2 pounds in weight. It's not light. But one of the stores wants to buy 25 of them. That's 50 pounds that I'm shipping.
Right.
And that's not cheap. That's usually $30-40, if not more, to ship that much weight.
Well,
and I got to eat that cost.
I was shipping
and if
idols.
I sold both bundles, now I'm eating almost $100 in shipping right out of the gate.
I was shipping Cthulhu idols because that was one of the businesses that we had.
Yeah.
We did Cthulhu idols, and as soon as I get down to Louisiana, I'm going to grab, my the ones that I have that are left. But they were really, really popular in Germany, Denmark, and Poland.
Yeah, a lot of Eastern European countries.
So I am shipping resin Cthulhu idols that they're lightweight. They're, I think, quite literally like that big.
Yeah. Then in a standard 5x3.
Yeah, I'm
box.
shipping them international, and the shipping alone was $90.
Yeah, that's about right for international shipping. Yeah.
For that, domestically, $30.
Yep.
For this little itty bitty box. If it wasn't for the fact that they were paying me up front and I was transferring that money directly into a PayPal and paying from there, I would not have been able to afford the shipping on all of those.
Yep.
So
and
that's
the worst part too is if you get 10 orders, and that's what I'm saying. Like I can understand how this is going to be a major issue for people who aren't big distributors,
right.
who don't have their nest egg, who literally just and the thing about it was the way the business model was already established for eBay was you didn't have to save up for shipping. You just get your money. That's your money. You spend it however you want to. You want to buy more inventory, you can. You didn't have to put anything back.
Or it was also geared for, hey, do you see behind you, you have all of these books. Well, I'm wanting to get rid of all of my books, so I will individually put all of my books up there. I will make money, and I will get rid of all of this stuff out of my personal collection.
Eventually.
And sell it to people who are like, oh, well, you have a copy of A Canticle for Leibowitz? That's an awesome book. One of my favorites, by the way. That's awesome. I would love to have that. I'll pay you $3 for that book or whatever, and here's for the shipping, and boom. And I just take that, pay for shipping, boom, throw it in the thing.
And out it goes. Right, we're done.
And
now you can't
I just
do
take
that.
my money. And
now you have to pay $8 up front for shipping for an item you just sold for $3.
Yeah.
Right. Now you'll get reimbursed that $8
in 3
eventually.
or 4 days.
Yeah, eventually. But
if it takes that long to get, like I'm saying, that's what I said. With the way the business model used to be set up, you didn't have to put aside for shipping.
Right.
So if you were flat broke and
Trying to raise
money, and I sold my 25 player handbooks at $10 a pop, I just made $250. Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. But I can't send them now because I don't have the $50 per book probably to send them anywhere. So I'm screwed. Mm-hmm. So I think there's going to be a period of time which people are going to need to adjust. If you want to stick with it, you're just going to have to build a shipping egg, and it's just going to be part of your shipping cost. Which most,
like I said,
honestly, most places that's the way you have to do it.
Well, a lot of the guys that I was talking to,
I don't know why they did that though. It's so dumb. Like when I'm thinking about it,
a lot of the guys that I'm talking to, they tried to stick it out.
Yeah. How long ago was this? Last month?
It's
January.
It's been a couple months.
It was January, wasn't it?
It's been a little while that they've transferred over. And then like one of my buddies who's a costume designer, does custom masks. He does all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. He does special effects, makeup, all that, and he sells custom. He designed the mask for Johnny Five, John 5 or whatever.
Johnny 5.
Like all the masks he wears on stage and all that stuff, he makes those, and then he does those for him, and then he makes the ones for him to sell.
Are you talking about from Hollywood Undead?
No. The guitarist from Zombie?
Johnny 5.
Johnny 5.
Yeah.
But he does, like, you know, the white mask stuff with all the different designs, and then he has, like, masks on top of his mask that he pulls off in his stage show. Scott does at Your Dream Creations, does all of his stuff, and for a few other famous people, he does.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
but
a mess.
He's also able to sell those, and he does his own custom masks. He does his own other stuff, and he's completely like stepped out of eBay. Like he's like today he made that announcement. Like I'm done. I'm not selling anymore. Go to my own store online, go to my, and buy it off of there.
Right.
Unfortunately, I'm not doing eBay anymore because I can't afford the shipping costs up front.
I wonder if there's a way for the buy now button on eBay to just link to your own personal website. I'll show you eBay.
There you go, Anonymous. Go do that.
Yeah, there you go. There's your next task, Anonymous. Oh, man. All right, so eBay is cutting their own throat because there's a lot of not shippers, a lot of distributors, a lot of creators are going to leave that. And on top of that, I mean, when you have places like Etsy and things like that, if
you're creating your own stuff and selling it on eBay, you might as well be on Etsy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being honest. I don't even like Etsy, but it makes a lot more sense. Hell, Pinterest at this point makes more sense.
Well, Pinterest you can't sell on. But
you can link to create. You can absolutely put your website on there, though.
But it's so easy to open your own Shopify now. Mm-hmm. And
what's the other one? Mercury? Not Mercury. Oh man, what is that called?
Like we're looking at our merch store, getting it ready to, like we're on Teespring because they
Mercury, I think is what it is. Sorry.
We're on Teespring and because they integrate with a lot of different platforms and whatnot. We were actually looking at switching over to a Shopify and merging with a print-on-demand company to do all our merch and just run it off of our own Shopify page store and have all of our stuff there, and then again have that embedded into our.
Yeah. So there you have it. If you're a creator, and you were thinking about entering not YouTube, if you're thinking about entering the eBay market, maybe rethink your strategy, or just make sure you've got a nice shipping egg.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like a nice collection of money, $12,000.
You need to know how much it is going to be to ship your item.
Yep.
Which you should know anyway, putting this stuff up there.
Well, correct.
But don't be surprised if somebody buys it overseas and then turns around and says, "Hey, I need you to ship it," and like the shipping cost is 5 to 10 times more expensive
than you thought it was.
Then, even shipping to Canada is tends to be expensive.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people out there who have like really nice Cthulhu idols that we made for 6 months. Nobody's ever gonna get any more of those. So those are
I am.
one of a kind.
I'm getting mine, and I might put it up for auction on geekpublicradio.com.
Yeah, that's what we need to do is like make our own auction site, and
Right.
That integrates with PayPal.
Just a big goofy auction site where you just auction all kinds of stupid stuff.
Here's a picture of my butt.
Here's a nose hair. Whose is it? Mystery. Mystery collection of nose hairs.
Here, Walter Koenig's boogered handkerchief or something.
See this right here? This was touched by Charles Manson. Oh.
You can tell by the crazy look in his face.
Yeah. So, special shout out to all of our fans out there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, checking us out. We really do appreciate every single bit of help that you get. Like, share, subscribe. We super duper appreciate it. If you'd like to, support us in a real way, we're going to have that available for you very, very soon. But check out down below. I gotta make sure that I'm on camera the right way. Right, there you can see my finger. Check out down below the merch page. Where you can check out that cool OG shirt that Chris has on, and we'll have some more designs up there for you very, very, very soon. You guys have been fantastic, and I want to apologize to everybody out there for not posting more content. The last couple of weeks have been insane, to say the absolute least. So I've been dealing with some familial shit, and it's been difficult. So. Yeah, so that's been my last 2 weeks. But yeah, you guys
I just
are
been
awesome.
working really a lot to be able to afford all this stuff.
It's different.
So,
I think that's about it for us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's everything we were planning to cover, and then that we had our and more with the sliding into RPGs and
Well, I mean, we're nerds. It's gonna happen. If you ever watched us and didn't expect us to derail at least a little bit, shame on you. Shame on you. Not me, you.
But, all right. So, remember to...
Spay and neuter your pets.
Yeah. If you want updates, whatnot, on like when we're going to be doing live shows and whatnot, we're going to be having a schedule put out and be more like on board with the schedule now that our county is in the blue. We don't have to worry, or some of the restrictions are down now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get more active and whatnot. We are going to have a newsletter thing set up to where the moment we get ready to, like, hey, you have a half hour, we're going live in a half hour, yada yada yada, for this scheduled show. So little half-hour reminders. All that stuff will be done and on the website here as soon as I get a day to to put it together. But it should be up there really soon. Just sign up for the newsletter. You will reminders for upcoming shows. We do have In Conjunction coming up in July. It will either be
virtual,
a virtual con, or it will be a hybrid, where they're going to do both physical and whatnot. And we will be there. We are the official podcast. We are the official radio station, and we have a live show that we will be doing.
That's right.
There,
doing all kinds of stuff.
Rutledge Productions will be screening 2 of their movies, The Tube and
Black Book.
The Black Book.
Can we just be honest? We are in conjunction. We are in conjunction.
Well, no, but they were nice enough to contact us again and wanted to know if
they're pretty awesome.
They were like, hey, we'll play you in the con suite. So the radio, the live radio will be played in the con suite. So any of the on location interviews you do on the radio while you're on location will be played there as well. For people who are there, like, oh, well, I didn't realize this booth had this little itty bitty thing that I really like. I'm gonna, now I'm gonna go over there and check it out. So if you're going to be at In Conjunction vendoring or whatever, come check us out. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll put little plugs for you on the thing too. But there's a whole lot of stuff we're going to be doing with them. Hopefully, being able to bring you a lot of content via the live video, like we're doing now, from the location, as well as like from the table with people walking around, the whole 9 yards. It'll be really, really fun, and it gives us a chance to kick the tires at a fun convention and pretty much break it in and see and try to break it so when Gen Con comes around, whenever Gen Con comes around, we're good to go for that too, for all of our conventions. So
it's gonna be an exciting time. You guys don't want to miss it. Conspiracies. I'm just kidding. You guys have a good night.
Night.